So we know the issues, we know about energy, we know about the border, we know Joe Biden doesn't know what he's doing. We know all that, we get all that. But why do this? Why do this here tonight with Legacy PAC? Because there's a whole lot of people who have the passion to save this country who need help getting off the ground.
The purpose of Legacy PAC is to save America. That's our mission. That's what we really want to do because America's worth saving.
I am by trade, I'm a cybersecurity engineer. Okay, so this is my first run in politics. We need more conservative Republicans standing up and fighting for the Constitution.
We're an America First PAC, and we want to promote and help our up-and-coming candidates, and we're going to be holding the line for President Trump.
I joined the Army at 17 years old. My first day at my first unit, which was 25th Infantry, was September 10th, 2001. So the next day was 9/11. And I spent about a total of a decade between Iraq and Afghanistan in country. So my country means everything to me. When I realized that if people like myself who don't want to be politicians don't start stepping up and taking these seats, that nothing's going to change, then I said, okay, I'll do it.
Who deserves to lead the people of this country more than those who serve this country? So I'm behind every one of them. So let's make sure we get more veterans into power. I'm all for it.
Remember why you're involved. We have to make sure people remain humble and not engage in self-glorification. You are here for one reason, and that is to save the country. Period. End of story.
And for those candidates who are looking uphill and wondering how, keep your head down, focus on the target, and outwork everybody. And I promise you, you're not gonna lose. You're either gonna win on election night or you change the game on election night. So God bless you guys. Thank you so much, Legacy PAC.
Thank you, Legacy PAC.
Under this administration, they have deliberately opened the border to fundamentally change the fabric of our country.
I'm Jared Craig with Legacy PAC. We are here at Eagle Pass, Texas, to bring attention to the border crisis, to educate the voters, the citizens of the United States, and the candidates running for federal office, the importance of a secure border.
And at Legacy PAC, we want to bring candidates here to the border to see it firsthand, because there is nothing like being here, seeing this. We saw women and children climbing over barbed wire. There is no reason why we cannot secure this border. There is no reason to keep this open. This is not humane. So we need to get Victor and all these other good America First candidates into office.
We at Legacy PAC depend on your donation and support to support these projects. And we can't do it without you. So please go on to legacypac.org and show your support.
I'm Jared Craig with the Vet Voice. On behalf of Veterans for Trump and Legacy PAC, I have the pleasure of speaking with Addison McDowell, who's running for U.S. Congress to represent North Carolina's 6th District. And we are in a short period of time. So we have a primary coming up, we have a general election coming up, but you've got a lot going on in your state right now. I want you to talk to our guests a little bit about what motivated you to run for office and some of your important platform issues. I want to hear a little bit about what your opinion is on our southern border, northern border, or any borders that we have, and the impact that has on America from coast to coast. So thank you for coming on the show, Addison. And please feel free to call me Jared. There's no formalities here, but please share with our guests a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Well, Jared, thank you. And for me, the decision to run for office wasn't one that I took lightly. I'm a family man, and so I know that this is a job where I would have to sacrifice a lot of my time and be away from my family. And so it was after a lot of prayer and a lot of thoughtful conversations with my wife that we decided to do this. But what drove me to want to run was, we'll have to go back to 2016. And in 2016, I got a phone call that I had lost my little brother, Luke, to a fentanyl overdose from fentanyl that almost certainly was manufactured in China, and smuggled up through Mexico. And, you know, that moment in my life is, you know, is a big one. And it's one that really impacted my family. And it's why I want to run for office. I want to make a difference on that issue. One of the things that I told President Trump when I met with him, well, sir, you know, I want to do this because I saw what it did to my mother. And I saw, you know, I saw that, how it broke her heart. I know it broke mine too. But, you know, if we can get to Congress and prevent even one mother from having to deal with, you know, a sheriff's deputy coming to the house and saying, "Ma'am, I'm sorry, your son or your daughter is dead. This will all be worth it." But so, you know, why I want to run for office, to make a difference on that issue, and to represent the people from you know, my home. But you know, on the southern border, I think it's pretty clear where I stand. We have to secure our border. You know, I know it's not just our southern border anymore. It's the northern border as well, and so we have to take it seriously, and we have to secure our border because we're being invaded right now, and we have a president that doesn't want to do anything about it.
In the southern border, we had the chance. Our organization went down late last year and filmed live what was going on. And I'm not sure if you've been down there in person, but the federal agents are not allowed to do their job. They sit back. They're more like park rangers or chaperones on field trips. And when all of these military age men and unaccompanied children are coming across, they're just processing. There's no deterrence. And you're right, the Mexican cartels are acting on behalf of the Chinese government, the CCP, in helping to poison this nation. It is an invasion. And we have a film out on that point. It's Border Invasion America in Crisis, and that's coming out early March. But the fentanyl, the human trafficking, the geopolitical angle, the all of these things are just pouring across our border, seeing terrorists from all over the world. So I think that the border issue should be bipartisan, but we're seeing that it's not. Funding of the wall is being held up with funding for Ukraine, and it's being ignored as a national, I guess, an act of war to some degree. I hate to go to those terms, but we're being invaded. It's a soft invasion as that's defined. So as we proceed through the border, we also have the states that are not on the border impacted there. You're from North Carolina. The only border you actually have is the Atlantic Ocean. But do you see an influx in your district with a lot of illegal aliens, with more vagrants on the street, more of our school resources being eaten up? How is that illegal population impacting your district?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's playing out for sure. We have, you know, where this district is, there's a lot of highway traffic, and so that lends itself to, you know, a lot of drug activity, and you know, that's why we're seeing so many young people die from fentanyl that we know is coming from Mexico, and so, you know, the sheriffs that we've spoken to, they are telling us that the police officers we've spoken to, the chiefs of police, the state troopers, they're all telling us, like, we're a border state now. And it's not just Texas and Arizona, it's North Carolina. And that's another problem we're going to have to deal with is, yeah, we're going to secure the border, but then we also have to deal with everyone that's already here, and those that we don't even know about. And so that's why it's important to give law enforcement the resources that they need. That's why I'm proud to be endorsed by the North Carolina Police Benevolent Association, the State Troopers Association, and the Border Patrol Council.
And it's time that we take a stand. I've heard Donald Trump say several times that we could treat these cartels as terroristic organizations. And with their intentions to poison our youth, poison our nation with fentanyl, I see it as a criminal defense attorney and a family law attorney. No family is immune at any socioeconomic level.
Sure.
This is an invasion into every home, every family. And the Mexican cartels are starting to push away from the Chinese suppliers, and they're starting to produce it themselves. Their goal is to produce it more pungent or potent and produce it cheaper to then pour more and more into our country. And they're adding it to everything that you could imagine. I've actually represented people in court who had possession of one thing, but when it went to toxicology, it was fentanyl, and they had no idea. And not to justify the illegal drug user, but it's an invasion without us even paying attention to it. And those of us that are paying attention are being, I guess, scoffed at by the current administration. So, in addition to that, the human trafficking, I'm out of just south of Atlanta, and this being a hub of so many interstates and the international airport and a lot of frequency of traffic through here, we have a huge influx of human trafficking. And that comes in the form of children, it comes in the form of day laborers. And are you seeing that also in your district?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we are in the top states for human trafficking in North Carolina. Again, we have a highway system that lends us to that sort of thing. And, I'm personally somebody that's been affected by fentanyl. But as a father of a young daughter, when I think about human trafficking, it is absolutely bone chilling. And for us to have an administration and the Democrats in Washington, if you want to see them get tongue tied, ask them if we have a crisis at our southern border, and they won't tell you that we do. But when I see the statistics about human trafficking and what is taking place in our country at the hands of these Mexican drug cartels, I am stunned, and it's what led me to run for office.
Well, in addition to I'll say the CCP, the Chinese, and also the Mexican cartels, there's also a franchise at the more local level with the street gangs, the city gangs that are already here, acting almost as independent contractors for the general contractors at the cartels. So if we were to treat the cartels as enemy combatants or terrorist organization, I believe we would stop the voluntary participation with the street gangs that are already here. Now, what is the largest? I'm going to pivot a little bit to economic factors. Your district, what's the biggest economic industry there for your voters? What's the market look like there?
Yeah, so we're a lot of old mill towns is what we are, and so you've seen a lot of industry that's just gone away. Transportation is a huge one. We've got a lot of logistics companies, a lot of companies that actually build the trucks that are doing all of the logistical work. So we're heavy in transportation, but we're a district that is having to come back from these different things that the federal government did that took away free trade and that hurt these mill towns. And so we're in a place now where we're trying to bounce back. And you're seeing that. You're seeing a lot of very smart investments from the Republicans in our state that are leading to different industries coming in. So we've got mega sites all over the state, but in our this district, we've got like I said, it's primarily transportation, but we also have some really neat industries that are thriving. Within this district, 100-mile radius around it, you have pretty much every NASCAR team in the country, and so that is a big economic push. We've got RJ Reynolds just outside the district. We've got different industries here, hospitals, that sort of thing, and so we're strong because the people here are strong. And so, yeah, we're hurting. Joe Biden's economy has really hurt the wallets of the people in this district. I know my wallet's a lot thinner than it was when Donald Trump was the president. And that's, that everybody's feeling that at every level.
Well, I think that you mentioned transportation being a big part of it. And as we spoke before the interview, we were talking about goods and production and how all of it's tied to energy costs. I don't care if you're selling gazoos at the local flea market, someone had to drive them there. But if the transportation industry in particular is tied directly to the cost of energy, and we've heard Donald Trump mention, hey, drill, baby, drill. That's what he's going to do on the first day. And I see that as a benefit to your district to my district, to all across the country to help bring back those jobs. And it's good that your companies there are attempting to, I would say, be creatively survivalists in a bad economy. It's tough to make ends meet right now with the cost of everything. So I think we're on board with the main 3 points. Are there any other platform issues that you feel are important that we haven't discussed, or something that is important to you that you want to present the first day you get into office?
Well, I think it's important because of my background. I spent 4 years in a congressional office that was a district office. I didn't go to DC. I stayed home and worked for the people in our district. And, we saw the different problems that veterans in our in this district face with the VA and with different government agencies and having to deal with all of that red tape. And so I hope that I can communicate that it's important to me that we have an efficient and effective constituent services operation in my office when we win here on March 5th. But there's 2 VA hospitals in this district, and so making sure that the folks that served our country in uniform have the help from their congressional office to work through the mess at the VA and get the care that they need. We're going to make that a priority of the office. So I just wanted to share that.
Well, that is definitely an issue that is near and dear to our hearts. I ran a couple of years ago on the issue of automatic enrollment into VA benefits, and what seemed to be a bipartisan issue really wasn't. We have issues with budgeting for illegal aliens over veterans and kicking people out of schools and homeless shelters. And it's just an atrocity that we see up I'd say, a little further north. We have not made any other endorsements in this district, in this race. And I have a firm belief that your endorsement interview, once we get it to the board over the weekend, I'm going to stand behind you as the America First candidate in this race. I have no other dog in this hunt that I feel comfortable standing behind. So Addison, if voters wanted to find out more about your campaign, they wanted to volunteer their time or make donations, where would they go to find out that information?
Yeah, so it's www.mcdowell4nc.com. So it's FORNC.com. So they can find all the resources there, and we'd appreciate their support on March 5th.